This is a regular Nintendo Switch I have since the year this thing was launched. This is a Switch OLED edition that will be releasing next month. Not too much of a difference here, huh? But for this video, I'll be focusing on my original Switch because if you ever saw the title of this video, or the thumbnail to be exact, then yes, I am customizing my original Nintendo Switch, which was something most people have already done on YouTube, but for this one in particular, it'll be something that no one has ever done before, and you'll probably see how this thing actually turned out in the video, but I hope you guys like to subscribe, and let's get this started. So this is my original Switch that I got the year of the system's launch. Not on March 3rd, but somewhere in May back in 2017. So far this thing is fine, and I thought I would do a makeover of this thing. Not because of the scratches on the back, but I thought this may be a good excuse to change the game card flap that was practically cracked. Smash does show my anger side like most people, but I'm trying to mature or rage less to avoid putting everything I own into pieces. I know I wouldn't have just replaced the part in the first place, like the actual game card itself, but I'm not basic, and people painting custom designs seems pretty cool, so I thought I would try it for myself since I'm decent in art in most cases. Like, no joke, this is a pre-looking canvas drawing I made in 6th grade, and this is my mediocre dragon bug drawing I made in 9th grade. You may already know what the theme of my custom Switch will be, but back to the montage. So yeah, I will do a ladybug theme backplate for my Switch. It won't be a normal ladybug theme backplate, but I'll be basing this on her new Guardian outfit in the latest season of Miraculous Ladybug. So I'll be using the red backplate that is similar to the Switch Mario Red bundle. I know that the red can be different from Ladybug's suit, but I felt like this backplate will be perfect to mimic it. The only thing I needed is the red and black spots, which also leads me on needing black spray paint, fine grit sandpaper, painters / masking tape, a couple of other supplies I probably had at home, which you'll see later what they're used for, whatever this acrylic varnish stuff is, and these paint pens. How bearing. So to start out, I obviously needed the back plates, and funny story, I actually got these vent grills the same day I got the back plate, and when the back plate arrived, there are already vent grills installed. So I may have to remove them. You don't really have to do it if you want to have colored vent grills, but since these things are already black, I thought I would do it so the backplate will have some more air to dry out. Actually, as I was filming this, they somehow ripped, so I regret getting those spare vent grills. Now, I didn't fully do this on camera, but I made a drone sketch on paper, so I'll place the tape on this sheet so I don't have to place it directly on the back plate. The only thing I have to do after I place the tape on that sheet was cut out some of the excess tape and place it on the back plate itself. Also, before any of this, I made a prototype design in Photoshop, and I was able to make some adjustments when I'm actually sketching it on paper. Now, once that was done, I did some sanding with some fine grit sandpaper, and once that was done, I just added a bit more tape to make it secure, and it's up for painting. Now, the spray paint I use is a paint and primer in one spray paint. I use this stuff because half of the switch will be black and the remaining half will still be red. I'll let it dry before I do multiple coats. After I did the first coat, I did 2 coats after it particularly dries, and another 2 coats later and let it dry overnight, which is a total of 5 coats. For your own safety, I prefer you use 3 or 2 coats before you add any more. And while waiting for it to dry, I thought I watched the show for some reason.
Here is the miraculous of the tiger, which gives the power of clout. You will use it for the greater good. Let's consume it! Once the job is done, you will return the miraculous to me. Can I trust you? Yes. What? I can't hear you! Yes. I still can't hear you! Come on! Is that all you got?
Is that Kwame?
You are good. You and I are gonna get along just fine. All you gotta say now is roar! Stripes on! Roar! Stripes on!
And now with this thing drying, I now have to remove the tape. And I was worried about doing it because I'm concerned on the paint getting through the tape edges since they decided to warp. But actually, when removing it, it actually turned out pretty okay. I just have to clean up some of the excess black paint on the red side. Then use the paint pen to draw in the spots, which I use a made up circle stencil I made with some paper and a coin. For the red side, I made the spots black, and for the black side, I actually made them red. Now, I was about to use a ruler and something flat to do the middle line, and I just improvised with the actual marker because what I was doing with the flat thing and the ruler ended up okay, but carefully using the paint pen itself did it pretty fine, even though I made the line a bit thick, but it ended up pretty much okay, and it was time consuming for me using a ruler and a flat object because I was using the paint pen ink instead of actual paint. And lo and behold, the final product did absolutely swell. Like, it turned out real good. I did some minor adjustments before spraying it with the clear coat, and what you're seeing me do here is painting the game card flap. I would just put it in as it is despite the different red tone, but I just thought, why not add the 3 little spots and the middle line to mimic her yo-yo. Now, the clear spray I use is a flat clear spray. When I first did this project, I decided to make the backplate matte, and that's what I did with the spray paint. I coated it in, wait for it to dry, and continue on with the clear coat. And as that continues to dry, it may be a good idea to continue watching this show to prevent the fans from suing me.
Thank you, Cat Moore. Hey, Kitty Cat, you're gonna have to throw us up as high as you can. Can you do that?
I can sure try. Hey there, I'm Cat Noir, and you are...
I'm Purple Tigress.
Purple Tigress? Meow, that makes us practically family.
And after all of that painting, I now got to assemble this thing. Now, I actually watched a couple of Nintendo Switch backplate replacement videos, and I pretty much know how the process goes, and it was simple as they say it is, as I needed a tri-wing screwdriver for the 4 front screws and a Phillips screwdriver for the Phillips screws from the top part off the console to the middle screws off the Joy-Con rails. I do have to transfer stuff from the kickstand clip and the piece that holds the game card flap, and I also installed the extra vent grills I had lying around. P.S. If you see the 2 foam pieces in the sides of your OG backplate, you could also move those to the new one. The backplate would install fine without them, but it may be safe to use them just in case. Now, reinstalling the new backplate was pretty much tricky, I would say, because when I installed it, one of the bottom screw holes were not aligned. However, after screwing on the first 4 tri-wing screws, it got aligned, and after installing the other screws, the final product turned out way cool, and I can't wait to fully show it to you guys. And yeah, this thing actually turned out very, very dope. I pretty much like the design of it in all ways. The reason why I haven't done the front, because it might be a pretty difficult to replace it without damaging the front screen, and also I have a screen protector and other stuff. And the reason why I didn't do the kickstand is because I don't want it to look mismatched if I'm replacing it in the future. And if you open it up, you actually see the continuation of the 2 spots. I don't know if you can see it properly, but it's there. And also the micro SD card icon is visible right here. And yeah, it turned out very, very nice. And before I leave, I want to try some Joy-Con variations that you'll have with the backplate itself. So for starters, I thought I would do these neon red Joy-Cons, and I'll just put them in here. Joy-Cons still work fine. And here's the back of it. Not bad, I would say, despite this one being a different red than the other ones. I think if I'm planning on replacing more Joy-Cons in the future, I might replace these shells or anything, or from a different Joy-Con. Maybe if the Mario Red Joy-Cons from the Mario Red bundle that was the same color of this backplate will be sold separately, I might get those, but I'm glad with the 4 I have. And obviously the front looks pretty much, dare I say, I would say the front looks normal as usual, but in the back it's basically like this. Moving on with other Joy-Con variations, I think I'll try the neon yellows next. Yeah, not too bad on the front, but in the back, I don't know if any of you will like this variation of the back, but pretty fine, I would say. Now I'll try the neon blue Joy-Cons. Again, front same, back pretty nice, I would say. Like, I think the red and blue looks pretty cool like this. And finally, I'm more interested on seeing what these Zelda Joy-Cons look on my Switch with the ladybug theme backplate. So installing these. Front, same. Back, way better than the neon blues. I don't know if I want to use this combination more, but this is so much better than the neon blues. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. I hope you guys like to subscribe, and I'll see you guys on my next video.